Hey guys, welcome to the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. As usual, we are going to look what's going on a macro front in regards of liquidity in the stock market, and then we will switch and look total crypto market cap and Bitcoin chart for this edition of the Crypto Lab. So let's start. Let's review what's going on the CME Fed tool. So from the last week, we switched from 5 to 525. Last week we switched pretty aggressively in a couple of days to 525, 550, and then after the jobs data we dropped again. That Fed is going to pause. So we have also the CPI data next week, 13th of June. Fed is on 14th of June, and then on 15th we have ECB, I think. And inflation in Europe is still a little bit around 7%, and in UK is even more higher. So if the CPI goes below 4.5 towards 4.1, which is indicated by the Fed Cleveland research, I don't know if the Fed will have any justification to actually hike rates. Jobs data dropped from 3.4 to 3.7, which is something Fed, obviously, how bad is to say that, but they would like to see that because of the inflationary pressures and wages. So in general, I think that the pause is most likely, and especially the narrative, even if the market is starting to price in a pause, their narrative will be also very much important. So the press conference after the announcement, as always, will be very indicative where the Fed actually wants to be in the next couple of months, and Jerome Powell might be vocal about it. So let's look. So markets are quiet, of course. You all know what happened with Binance and Coinbase. Actually, it looks like the U.S. Regulatory bodies are having the same recipe. Gensler is pursuing the same recipe with the XRP, calling the many of these, let's say, cryptos securities. So basically, I mean, XRP is stuck with that trial for how many, 2-3 years. Maybe it's going to happen with Binance and Coinbase, who knows. And this is the obviously, in my opinion, unwillingness of the regulator to actually classify the digital assets. So I don't think there is a political will to do that. But of course, that's my opinion. I can say even in Serbia, we issued a law which is, or a regulatory framework which regulates crypto assets or digital assets already for 2 years. So if we can do it, I don't see why US wouldn't be able to do it. So I do see that as an unwillingness of the regulator to actually proceed with classification. And obviously, they want to reduce the presence of digital assets in that form as much as they can. So we will see what will happen with that. Of course, Bitcoin dropped, then reversed a bit back. Other cryptos dropped and reversed a touch, but nothing significant. I didn't see anything of a major technical breakout or breakdown, which I will show you in the chart. So let's look total crypto market cap. Let me just show you this. Yeah, so nothing, we cannot see basically nothing here of a breakout. So we have some type of a regularity here going down. As you can see, I still look this as a 3 waves down, some type of an X wave, and then potentially another 3 waves down towards this zone. So nothing new basically, and I will, of course, monitor this further, but for now it is basically describing the same pattern that we were looking for, let's say, for the last couple of weeks or even months. Let me show you Bitcoin, which resembles this, but there is a couple of things I want to go into details. And it's a Elliott Wave subject. So I didn't hear much debate on this Elliott Wave subject in any of the classics of the Elliott Wave books that are presented there, but it is a matter of primary or intermediary degree. Okay, so instead of labeling this as a 1-2 and then this another 1-2, the problem I have is why in the intermediary wave 2 you should see such a hesitation. This is quite normal for the wave 2. If you label this as a, let's say, 5 waves up, and this you label as a wave 2, in most of the cases wave 2 is sharp, and there is also a wave degree invalidation, which means that primary degree trend should, when the intermediary develops, so this is still 1 and 2, but I'm just saying, and I saw labeling that many people label this as a 1-2, 1-2, which means there is a 2 degrees of a trend. Okay, so in that case, this was a 22% of fall. Currently, we are touched. I don't think we get that far on the downside, but 18, so 4% left. But in general, what you want to see in a wave 3 of 3, you want to see a short wave 2 and continuation on the upside. So when you see the intermediary wave develop, so let me just show you here what I think. So if you actually have this as a main primary sequence towards, let's say, 100K, and then of course you will have waves inside waves, which is just various degrees of the same patterns developing. So if you decompose this, you will have 5 waves up, and then you will have, of course, some type of a pullback, which will be this type of a pullback, ABC or WXY, whatever. But then when you are developing the intermediary wave 3, this wave 1 and 2, which many people has this as a 1-2, this wave 2 is usually very short in nature, because the most aggressive part of any trend is going to be wave 3 of 3, which should actually come after this wave 2 pullback. And when you see a hesitation like this in a wave 2, I don't think the labeling, this is just a theoretical, logical thinking. I don't think this subject is covered anywhere, but we have kind of a guideline as a wave degree, but I will add that why would you have such a big hesitation in the intermediary wave 2 when you expect a sharp continuation of this trend in the most fierce and the most kind of a biggest move on the upside? Okay, so that's why one of the reasons why I didn't label this as a 1-2, 1-2. I'm still going to state that this is some type of a complex correction, because the complex are something that you will see in the regular wave 2s. Okay, so I'm not gonna beat this thing to that today, but something to ponder on. A larger time frame, I'm still gonna stay bullish. There is no reason to change the picture. I do think for now there is no breakout on the downside and on the upside. I do think we are in some type of leading diagonal in A, B, C, or WXY. One of these two patterns I think are unfolding, so there is no reason for anything to be done here yet. because this pattern is just a sideways overlapping one, which can qualify as a leading diagonal, or it's a part of a complex correction which will take us down to 22K. Depends, of course, where the liquidity go, what the Fed will say, where the stock market will go. So many of these things will influence Bitcoin, and then the rest of the cryptos, of course. So despite this move from the regulatory bodies in the US, potentially this leading diagonal or something of that nature can be done. We see a little bit more upside, and then we see the push down. So that's one of the version. Or if we are in a complex, this will be an ABC for W, X, and then A. We should not go above this X wave because we have already 3 waves down in A, and this should be actually 5 waves down there. So I need to go on smaller time frames to see. And I mean, wave 4 is too big. I wouldn't classify this as a 5 waves here. So we might be in some type of a leading diagonal, and then which has 3 waves everywhere. Okay. But anyhow, I don't think we still have any evidence that we're going to break out. Okay. So what I will be looking technically, usually when you have a complex corrections, a C wave or X wave, sorry, are something to watch. Okay. And this last resort resistance, usually what I'm watching for potential reversals. And this will be my 2 kind of guidelines where I want this actually to stop and reverse lower. Okay. So despite these events, which are pretty grave, I will say, or they're pretty significant for the cryptos in the US, technically we still didn't change anything from the bullish perspective. I will continue to look potentially this daily 200 moving average. So we are also trying to find support around this base channel, which is also good stuff. We have some type of a inverted head and shoulder, which many of the traders also look. So this will be a left shoulder. Now the right shoulder is developing, and from there usually you're going to have the same move on the upside, or a little bit more bigger than the distance between the head and the neckline projected upside. Okay, so yeah, it's also, I think, cup and handle, they call it like this, but whatever term you use, this still looks like a consolidation before we continue on the upside. The main question is, are we going up from here, or we're going up from a little lower? Okay. My last resort levels will be around 19 and 18K. If we drop below, I will definitely try to potentially look for another bearish wave count, because I would not like to see this 786 at 18K broken on the downside. This is one of the last resort ratios we look. If that is broken, most likely we're going to be and see a new low. And if this happens in 5 waves, then we can debate is this is a part of some of this correction still, or after a small correction we still go on the downside. So I will not go now in that debate, because I don't see a reason to do that at this moment. Okay. So I think that things are still pretty simple. If you watch the Crypto Labs a couple of weeks in a row, of course I don't do them every week, but this last couple of them was basically talking about the same subject. This correction is still ongoing. Nothing impulsive here on the upside. We didn't break key levels. We didn't break any we didn't show any potential impulsive features yet for the higher time frames conviction in regards of a trend. So I will still look this as a correction with a little bit lower levels at this moment. So yeah, I hope you liked it, guys. You find it useful. Let me just do something from the list, and Mara or Riot? Yeah, okay, we can look Riot and then we can wrap it up. Let's look what's going on Riot. Uh, yeah, Riot is still kind of a holding here. I'm looking this pattern as a potential impulsive pattern from the lows. Of course, we need to start moving on the upside. I will not like to see this wave count invalidation broke because broken, because then we will have only 3 waves and this becomes part of something more of a complex nature. So I need this consolidation to stay. It is pretty, but not significantly larger than a wave 2, and that is what we want to see in a wave 4. But for now, we don't see any higher time frame confirmation. Actually, in 5 waves up, challenging these 13 levels for a potential pullback, that we're going to continue higher. So for now, we don't have that. We are holding this support. This looks like a 3-wave move for now with a long sideways, but still we don't know what will happen here yet, in a sense of a Elliott Wave model, of course, and just to measure our risk if we want to trade this. So that's how do we use this tool. So thank you guys on the attention. If you want to visit our work, you can check us out at tradinganalysis.com. You have a trial for crypto service. I think it's $27 for 15 days. We do cover a lot of cryptos, and we do have a stock service, so you can pick your poison, as they say, if you like, and be more involved with us in the market. So thank you guys, and see you I don't know next week, but the week afterwards, potentially. So let's see what will happen with all of this very turbulent seas that we are in currently for cryptos. It will be interesting. So see you guys. Bye bye.